Facebook Live. Good afternoon, Queenie.
Afternoon, Doc. What's happening in the world of you?
Well, guess what today is?
I don't know.
It's National Cherry Cobbler Day.
Well, you know what? As soon as you told me I need to get cherries on my background, I figured you must have a good reason. And cherry cobbler sounds like a good enough reason for me. The only problem is at this hour, high noon, I'm going to be starving when we're finished with this.
I know. Well, for anybody that cares, cherries are my favorite. Cherry pie is like one of my faves. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I like that sweet tart thing, and you can get away with sweet tart with cherries.
Okay, now that's super nice. And I, of course, am going to ask this question. I have heard that they're healthy. Is that actually true?
Well, as long as you don't add sugar, yes.
Okay, because Bing cherries or whatever these kind of cherries here would be called, those are actually healthy for you?
The berries are actually on the scale with fruit are healthier.
Okay.
Your cherries, your raspberries, your blackberries, your lingonberry. We'll say lingonberries. Who eats lingonberries? Not many people. I'm actually being from Chicago and going to school in Wisconsin. No offense, I'm not making fun, but I've been told I have an accent. I don't know what that means, but up in Door County, which is a kind of a resort area, it's a very Swedish area, and they have lingonberries that they put on everything. So you go to a restaurant and they give you dark rye bread with lingonberry jam, and lingonberries aren't really sweet. So you probably would like it because you're not a sweet tooth like I am.
No, I'm not. And I've never actually heard that word before. I
Yeah,
would
they're
have
just.
thought that they were called loganberries and you'd call them ligonberries. So I would not have
It
even,
could be my accent. It could be my. I like to slice and dice words. So
I never actually knew that before. And and I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know why this even came into my head, but some of the ethnicity pieces of our lives, we end up eating things that our families created back in the day. And do you know what Spätzle means?
yes. Mhm.
Okay. And I remember Spätzle completely. First of all, because it was spelled funky. It's like Spaetzle, Spätzle. And my great grandmother made it. And I remember it was this blob of dough stuff. And it turned out to be a noodle something. And I was like, it intrigued me even way back then. But it was not like a chicken noodle flavor. It had something else to it. But I think our ethnicities plays such a huge
Yeah.
part of what we eat or fix now or don't.
Or don't.
Right.
Yeah. More likely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I have a gluten issue, well, Italian pasta. We can't that, and it was always bread, 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 bread with every meal. And if you had, and
Huh?
actually the bread served the purpose of sopping up the sauce. You would always have bread with your meal.
Okay. Now
So
that's interesting.
that kind of thing. In
Yeah.
addition to the pasta and the cheese and all of those wonderful
So
artery clogging
correct me
things.
if I'm wrong, Dr. Laura, but you tell us right off the bat when we get to work with you, no sugar, no dairy, no gluten, and you just said a mouthful on all of those
That
things.
was all. You will just die. And then add a little dessert, add a little cherry cobbler to top it off.
Oh my gosh. And a little dairy ice cream, that would be lovely on top of it. But isn't it amazing what we have grown up with? And you kind of it's just natural. Some people had drinks before dinner. Some people had milk with dinner. Some people had water only or iced tea or whatever that looks like. Everybody had a different habit, I guess, when they were growing up. And cherry cobbler is one of those reminiscent things for me because that was a fun Sunday dessert kind of deal. And if I never had it again, I'd totally live through it. But I'd be happy to have cherries, just a cup of cherries, and eat those because they are yummy.
See, and the funny thing is, I never was a cup of cherries. Now, if it was strawberries, that's a totally different story. Strawberries are, right next to the cherries as far as favorite.
Wow. Okay.
But in just to honor my mom today, actually, she would have been 85 if she
Oh
was
my
still alive.
gosh.
Which my brothers and my sister and I, we always will text on a birthday or Mother's Day or Father's Day. We always remember remember them. And my mother was always into desserts, and cherry cobbler was one of her things to fix. And then, of course, the other was she made homemade sausage, and I know salsiccia, as it's called in Italian, and pasta and all of that. And funny story in that one year, and this was probably 15 years ago, I asked her for the recipe for the pasta and the meatballs, and she didn't have it written down. So it's a pinch of this and it's a pinch of that.
Yes.
And I could not duplicate it. I couldn't duplicate it. I still can't. Which is funny. I don't make the sausage part, but which I know you're sad about there, Queenie.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely that's on my list of yum.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just thinking about this. Was your mom born in 1935?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too. And so that my mom would be 85 this coming October. So isn't that a trip right off the bat too? Because I started doing the math on that going 85, wait a minute. So isn't that a funny thing? And mother was more of a pork tenderloin roast person with garlic mashed potatoes and green beans and stuff like that with, what do you call that? Mushroom gravy or some kind of thing over the top. I don't think she would have, and she wasn't desserty, thank goodness, but.
My mother used us as an experiment from Bon Appetit magazine, which is fine.
Yeah,
It was
bring it
good.
on. Bring it on.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Is that still around, by the way?
I do believe so. I saw it last year. I'm guessing it still is. I don't cook that way, but
Yeah.
we still
Well,
have some of her recipes. My sister and I pass back and forth, but yeah, no, she would do the pasta and the meatballs and all that stuff, and then she would always have a new recipe to try, whether it was appetizer, dinner, dessert, but she was always heavy on the dessert.
was your
So,
mom the cook in your family?
yes, my dad would barbecue. My mom would do everything else.
Okay.
So, yep.
Yeah, and that's so interesting to me because like I say, every family's different. Every traditional ethnicity food thing is different. And um what is it? I think with the Spätzle, somehow I'm remembering like a sauerkraut something was there. And then my grandmother's side did the corned beef and cabbage routine.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, and I could get through that. I know, but all of those kind of things are just not a good fit for me. And then when mother started in with the pork tenderloin roast stuff, I could handle that. But
Pork tenderloin is good. Yes. Yeah. On my dad's side, Irish and German, and they would always do the corned beef and cabbage and sauerkraut. And you put a walnut in your sauerkraut when you're fixing it to soak up the smell. That's what they said, but I don't. I will eat sauerkraut cold, which is weird, but that's as far as it goes. I remember the smell, and it was disgusting to me. And,
I never in my life heard the walnut thing. Wow.
so that was one of those old, and that was my great aunts. My one great aunt was quite a cook, and she also, we've talked about her. My great aunt Alice, who owned a bakery in the 1920s. So that's probably where I got my sweet tooth from. So.
But how cool she owned a bakery. My 3 or 4 generations above me did a dry goods store, as they called it, but they also had a butcher shop. So you bring these big meat things in there and they chop it up for you. And I was like, that's not a good fit in my head. Yeah.
See, and I'm drooling. I'm like, my mom used to buy, there were 4 kids, big family, she'd buy half a cow or half of this, or the pork chops, cut them real thick, So it's just it's those memories.
And yeah, and see, I would be more of a chicken, turkey, salmon kind of person. And mother was accommodating, thank goodness. But that it's just a funny thing. I always think how you grow up, and these cherries prompted that for me, because cherry cobbler or ooey gooey something dessert, or I also remember, and I don't know if this is in my head for a reason, but if you had too much salt in your soup, is that what you put a potato in and it sucks up the salt?
Yes. Yep.
Because I
good, Queenie.
Well, that's why I've never done it, obviously, but my thing always is, I guess I paid attention if there was a mess up that somebody goes, oh, just fix it with a something. And I'm like, how do you do that? And all of those things, because there's 10 ladies on a Sunday in my grandmother's kitchen. She always entertained the whole world. on Sundays. And so anytime that all the ladies would be in the kitchen, and of course I was sitting here going, what are you in the kitchen for? And so,
Yeah.
but they always had a methodology, I guess you would say. And with that many people in there, it was bam, 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 organize this, something that served this. I mean, it was just like clockwork. And you can tell where you don't fit. You can just automatically tell where you do not belong. And so I was the dish fetcher.
You probably were entertaining your guests. I mean,
Yes,
we
there you
grew up
go.
with cocktail parties and appetizers, and it was the same kind of thing. Everybody, the women were in the kitchen, most of
Yeah.
us, or whatever. Yeah.
And I literally was the get this plate, do this something, pass this back and forth. And I would be the hauling to the big buffet table thing. And I was totally fine with that because I thought I don't want to be in there doing that. So yes, I'll do anything. But it's just such a funny thing to me. Irish, German, Italian, whatever, French, all those different ethnicities that you come forth and have different styles of cooking. And I also imagine there's some kind of tart, like not sweet cherry thing I've had before. Like maybe a cherries jubilee. Is that a tart thing that you put over ice cream or something? Because those don't feel sweet to me.
Yeah, that's fairly sweet. I'm trying to remember because I've only had it once. I just don't, it's funny. I love cherries, but I don't remember. I was just thinking of Bake Alaska, or
Oh,
I
I know
can't
something that I bet you do not like is chocolate covered cherries.
actually. You correct. Kind
Yeah.
of like also when they put an orange flavoring with chocolate, you're like, stop ruining the chocolate. Now, if there's nuts with it, if it's almond covered, chocolate covered almonds, or I do at Christmas time with my leftover after I do my truffles, I will throw cashews in chocolate or walnuts in chocolate or that kind of thing. But it has to be dark chocolate. So
Now, see, I could possibly go there, and that's why I was wondering right off the bat, um, with the different things that people do. And if you did dark chocolate with cherries and especially nuts in it, you're kind of not getting a sweet thing going on.
well, when I think of chocolates and cherries, when you bite into the chocolate with the cherry, that junk that comes out, it's kind of like those Easter egg, the
Oh
Cadbury
my gosh.
eggs. Ugh.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen
And I
either.
have a sweet tooth, but those are like disgusting.
Yeah, no, that's not going to fit for me either. And so it's just a funny thing. In my family, the big draw to Easter was those peep
The
marshmallows.
Peeps, yeah.
Oh, God bless America. That is so not a good fit for me. And it was one of those kind of things that it was always around at Easter time for our family. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I think honestly, people get used to different things and what causes of this and what causes of that. And then we go into, well, in your case that you've shared with us, now you have a health challenge. So you literally take everything you grew up with and flip it into something that you can do healthy wise and not have your health challenge anymore because of your dietary changes. Everybody makes choices. And just as when you were mentioning about the cherry thing today, look at the difference. You do the cherry cobbler and I do, I'll eat them this way, but I'm not doing all that slop with it. And it's just a different, I don't know what you would say, upbringing maybe, or
Yeah, well, and it's mindset too. And I was going to add to that, once you flip it and you get healthy, you go back to the old habits and it doesn't taste good anymore. It's kind of like, it's almost like an addiction when
okay.
you're going through it. For example, I was a big Diet Coke drinker 10 years ago. I mean, that's all I drank was Diet Cherry Cokes. And now once in a while I'll try it because I think that I want it. And I'm like, why did I do that? Because it doesn't taste good. I know it's not good for me. So it's that kind of thing. But
And
yeah.
that's an interesting thing right off the bat. There are several people in our actually Doc and Queenie community who have shared with us over the year, actually, some of the things that they do or don't do. And I know that we've got Mountain Dew addictions in here. I know that we've got real Coke, real beverage Coke and all those things. And I think of all that stuff and what starts it, what makes you continue it. And then once you find out it's maybe not the best choice health-wise or nutritionally, then you either limit it or cut it out completely. And I know that there's people that go, all of a sudden I heard about, and in my case, obviously cold and water, I heard about Kangen water and I've never had another pop since, and soda pop. And I get that, but other people go, oh, I give myself a treat once a week or once a month or once a something. And again, I think that just like you said, it's lifestyle choices, it's dietary choices,
Well,
it's personal
yeah.
preference. I don't
And I
know.
think good memories are attached to food. I mean, we're a food culture. What culture isn't food based? And a lot of, because that's families and gatherings and parties and all of that. For us, we always went out for pizza. We never, it's funny. My mom Italian made everything except for pizza. We would go out for pizza, and that was always a Diet Coke with it.
Ah,
Because you didn't eat, that was healthier.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. My mom was the type that we would go to a, what do you call it? A bistro where they have French pastry and all of this fabulous something. And so we'd eat 900 pieces of this filled stuffed.
You'd be dying, wouldn't you?
Oh my, well, but I was right there with her, and then we'd wash it down with a Diet Coke. And I'm going, well, I guess that means the calories don't count when you do. But see, what is that logic? I mean, seriously. And you think about how this started and what the base is and what changed your mind. And hopefully, what I usually say is if you know better, you do better. Not always, but it's a choice or a preference, or maybe it's a personality type. If I'm never doing this again, and you hear about whatever your thing is, Kangen water, I'm never having another neurotoxin. Well, or I'm only having one a week or one a day or one of something. Every personality type, it's intriguing to
Right.
me.
And what I see in my business is people that get sick. It sometimes takes, I mean, that's my story. If I didn't get sick, I'd probably still be abusing my body with the garbage, the processed food and the neurotoxins and all that. But I made that choice. Some people don't want to make that choice. And that,
Maybe they're not sick enough yet.
yeah, or they're not there yet. I mean, there's always you never say, oh, I wish I could, because I used to always say that. And actually, I think you pointed out one time, like, you weren't ready. You weren't, sometimes we're not ready at a certain point. Maybe down the road we were ready. So, and it's when you change your lifestyle, when you change your diet and your lifestyle, it's not it's not like you can't have the stuff you used to enjoy. A lot of stuff that I teach is the 80-20 rule. If you can stay 80% on a healthy, that 20%, one day a week, Friday night, if you want to drink, have a drink, unless your body will tell you if it doesn't want that or like it. Definitely will if you're having problems, but
Absolutely. And that obviously the segue with our pictures behind us. I noticed your shirt today and it's so cute.
garden.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It
I
is,
got this from my friend. Here, let me show you the rest.
oh,
Yeah, that is from our mascot mama, Miss Beverly.
that is
Beverly
awesome. And I know
Banks.
that you got to visit last week and actually go fishing. You did an Instagram reel with your fishy thing. And it's like, oh my gosh, that fish looks like it was 10 feet tall and 20 pounds. And you said it was small.
Well, they were close to 2 pounds, which is for Kansas is pretty big. I mean, 2 to 4 pounds. Here's our mascots. Well, let's see, that's yours. I thought I had both of them. That is Dave.
Yeah.
Good old Dave. He's the king of the castle. It took me like a half an hour to try and get that picture of him because he was not cooperating. I'm
I've
trying
known
to find.
cats in my day, and I haven't known a lot of them to be cooperative, Doc. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Dave, and I don't know if you can see Larry, but Larry's there somewhere.
Yeah. He's looking at the shoulder. That is so cute. So you got to go fishing with Miss Beverly and you both caught fish?
Yeah, we went Wednesday and Thursday of last week. Wednesday we stopped counting at 50 fish. We caught 50 fish between the two of us.
Oh my God.
We have a fishing hole that we go to. It's a private lake. One of her friends, and like last year we were talking about, last year we went fishing on New Year's Day and we still caught fish.
Wow.
So
New Year's Day, I don't know, Doc. That sounds a little chilly to me.
it was very chilly. I actually should dig up some of those pictures. We both have hats and gloves on and our winter jackets. We still caught fish. We always throw them back. Everybody goes, oh, there's some people that I don't eat because I don't eat the fish out of that lake because you don't know what they're spraying in their there's farms around it and all that, kind of stuff. So the runoff. So I don't eat the fish, but I mean, it's tempting. We caught lots of big bass, lots of crappie, and then sunfish that were the size of a small fry pan. So, but yeah, Wednesday we caught over 50. We stopped at 50. Thursday we didn't do as well, but we still caught 16 fish.
Oh
And
my
actually we
God.
were kind of crabby because we weren't catching them as fast as we did the day before.
So the day before spoiled you rotten, it sounds like.
Totally, totally.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the shirt is adorable. And I know with you and your gardening business right now, in fact, I'm surprised that you have time for the Doc and Queenie segment. Honestly, this is, as they say, 'tis the season. And the people and the pictures that you've posted as far as your garden beds that you're doing for people, garden boxes, is amazing. And think about the rain that has happened to Kansas City area this past weekend. Does everything wash away, or what does that look like for a garden bed?
Well, in these kitchen garden raised beds, no, because of course the soil is contained, and then depending, like I've got some elevated gardens out there, and I've got my own, and we put a pretty strong base underneath it to stop the soil from leaking through. It allows the water through, but it won't let the soil through.
All right.
So, but I actually was posting on Instagram. One of the guys I follow was actually, a lot of times we see on Instagram all this fun and positive stuff. And he said, it's a highlight. Instagram is highlighting, and he highlighted some of his dead, whatever he tried to plant. And he said, this is the reality of growing. And he asked people, have you had trouble? And my response was, well, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we had snow and it wiped out half of my garden. And now we have torrential, flooding going on. I haven't even gotten outside to look and see, how waterlogged everything is. I've got flowers in pots, and there's this much water. But that's the way it goes with gardening and growing. It's, you're beholden to the weather, you're beholden to the bugs, you're beholden to whatever.
Well, that doesn't mean automatic detrimental everything, right? Like everything
No.
can still be saved and fixed.
Like you talk about, Queenie, it's always pivot. It's pivot. You try to figure out what can you do better, or how do you adjust to the situation. And your lilac bush behind, is that off your patio?
This is in my front yard, actually.
Front yard,
and
okay.
It's amazing to me. I caught it this time before everything started croaking, because it literally goes from like this lavender right here to ooky brown right here. And it's amazing to me. The
Beautiful.
fragrance is phenomenal. And I wanted to catch it before it croaked completely, because I have been told by a certain gardening expert that if I just don't touch it, it's going to be lovely and rebloom again. Is it in the fall or in the August, or when is it going to do it, the smell thing again?
Well, when it reblooms, I don't know if that'll bloom again in the fall.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I used to have lilacs many years ago. I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay.
But I know if you chop it down, it's going to stunt it for the next year.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's very hard for me to let things grow random. And I kind of like it orderly and to grow even or don't grow at all kind of things. So I tried very hard not to hack this one this time. There's another one over in one of the garage areas, and it did not survive as well as far as the no hacking part. It came back and it's got a few little lilacs on it, but it did not flourish like this one. So leaving it alone was a very good message for the front yard. But like I say, the side yard needs to grow a little more orderly. And so, yeah.
Yes. And I also caught your post on you've got beautiful peonies. You've got the dark.
Oh gosh, isn't this a great season for those?
Oh my gosh, they are flourishing.
Oh my goodness, I saw that and I just went, this is incredible. Now, a couple times over the years, once the peonies come out like super big and we have one of these kind of rains, it just smashes them and messes them all up. But they're all kind of doing this right now. And I checked them again this morning, and the flower part is doing, we needed this rain.
Yesterday before it rained, they were just budding. After the rain, they were all, and I went and looked, and some of them are blown away, blown apart already. And I'm like, because I like to pick mine and use them as a centerpiece.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I bet that's beautiful. And like I say, I love if they grow like this and stay that way, I would be a lot happier, but they have all this big, fabulous flourish, everything, and then icky. And I don't like the icky part, but I'm trying very hard not to hack when they go icky because I can't stand that look. Yeah.
I know that's difficult.
Yes, it is. So tell us about your gardening business. I know for a fact, because I stalk you, that you've been doing Instagram Reels, holy moly. And you also are starting to do a steel metal garden something. Tell us about that.
Well, we're starting on some steel garden beds, raised beds, which
Okay.
have the framework. And I don't have any pictures to show you yet. I had an order for steel. So, and we don't do, a lot of people do corrugated steel, but we wanted something that, this is galvanized, it won't rust. And we did have our choice on if you want that rusty look. I'm like, that's not my style. So,
I already know that would not be mine either. Yeah.
yeah, but we went to a fairly new business, and I love to support local business. He's been around for about 6 months, and he hand cut the steel for us, and it'll be in a frame, and we'll be posting pictures here in the next week and a half, while we try to figure out. We had to buy a few new tools to be able to cut it.
Oh, okay. I bet. Well, yeah, that's way different than cedar stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh, cedar is very easy to work with. It's very, steel is a little different, and we also have to wear leather gloves so we don't slice it. Like if you slice yourself, you're in trouble. You're in
Wow.
trouble. It will cut down to the core. So yeah, but we're trying steel, an elevated raised bed made out of steel. It'll have a cedar frame on it, and we put the trim work, if you can see behind me, the trim work on top of this
Yes.
garden bed. We definitely put the trim work on top so you don't cut yourself. I mean, that's
Okay,
a biggie.
I need to know if you've got a little skinny piece of steel, how do you put a big honking piece of wood on that?
We build a frame, we set it into a frame
Oh, and the frame does the holding up.
and
Okay.
kind of sandwich it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I have enough trouble threading a needle. I don't think your type of business is a good fit for me.
I'm kind of thinking maybe not.
Yeah, I hack up my legs when I do weed eating stuff, so I'm not thinking I would be a good carpenter person, Doc, but it sounds like you've
No,
got a lovely team with you.
you are very good at training people and doing networking, Queenie. So
I
we will
better
just
stick to what I know. What do you think?
we will continue to learn from you about that.
Yeah, I better just stick to what I know. It really does, though. It sounds like you've got a great team. As soon as somebody says, I'm ready for this, everybody goes into action, and it's like an
Yeah.
assembly line. And I just think that's the coolest thing in the whole world. And
Yeah.
especially, like I say, 'tis the season. All of the things that you have planted and nurtured over the winter and even now in the spring, you've got harvest time coming up for some stuff, I bet.
Lettuce is doing its thing. The sugar snap peas are about halfway there, maybe a couple more weeks. We'll see what the rain
Wow.
did to them. But yeah, we're in it. There's still, I've got a few appointments left this month. If anybody wants a consult, there is still time to grow. And actually, until November, we can still plant, or we can still plant.
Wow.
And also, I'm going to be doing cold frames over these boxes if people want to plant. Here in this area, I have planted and grown more of your cold weather, which would be spinach, kale, lettuce, up to the end of December with a cold frame, or actually I did it in a greenhouse. We built our own greenhouse one year. And they're still good as long as the temperature doesn't go below 30. You can get away with it a little bit, 25 if the sun stays out, but once it hits that mark, then they kind of go dormant. But I love the growing season here because it's really February, March, all the way to November. That's a pretty good time. So we're building, we'll build beds, even if it's just build the bed this year and then follow up with it next year, that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, and that's another thing that seems like the fun part for your personality is it's not the same every single day. Everybody wants a different kind of raised bed. Everybody wants elevated or 2x8 or 4x4 or whatever that looks like, and it's never the same for your company.
No, no. And it's, like you love the networking and you're doing the Happy Neighborhood Project where you're meeting all these different people, all the different personalities,
Yep.
transfer that to what I do. It's different people, different projects, different things to figure out, and it's what I love. Like you love your networking.
Yes, I do.
Um, we're doing what we love. That's half the battle, I think, with a lot of people out there with business.
Absolutely. And speaking certainly of the social media piece and absolutely for Happy Neighborhood Project to be able to go global officially.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. But I noticed your platform that you are, I guess you would say cultivating, nurturing, mastering is Instagram. Tell us how you got to Instagram Reels, and now you've got such a ginormous following just from posting a few videos. How did you?
I know, it's crazy.
Do that? Yeah.
I was just fooling around. Well, and you know how I am, Queenie, I'll try anything. And so I was just fooling around. I've been looking at it. And I don't even, well, my personality, it's just, try it and move on kind of personality. So I thought I would try it. In my first reel, which they're 15 seconds long, I zoomed in on a piece of lettuce and I had over 1,500 hits within an hour. And I'm like, talk about, what the healthy choices, no gluten, no dairy, and no sugar, and you get one like.
Yeah.
1,500 hits. So I've been playing around with these reels, which are short. You can tell I'm still learning because it's not polished, but that's probably the beauty of it too. You can add music to it. You can add your text to it. You can make the text do stuff. You can add, do they say GIFs or GIFs, however you pronounce that word, to it. And I actually get more response on flowers and food than I've tried a couple other. We got
fish. I think you did super
the
great.
fish. We had 1,500. I've been averaging 1,600 hits. Approximately every other one I've done. I don't know how many now. I've done at least 10. But I'm just having fun, just trying to match the music to what I'm doing, or like yesterday, I slopped through the wet grass to zoom in on the peonies, and then I was just like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous, but just it's experiment at different times of day, make a difference too. So yeah, and they also give you your little demographics on there, and my viewership has increased 1,586% since the middle of April.
My goodness.
And all I'm doing is zooming in on lettuce.
Do you,
So,
do you have to pay for analytics with Instagram?
No, it came with it. And I'm just doing the basic. I'm sure there's probably a subscription, right? I'm just.
That's why I was wondering. Yeah, because I go to classes and things all the time to learn how to master some of these platforms. And then there are people like you who start pushing buttons and master them overnight. So yeah, that's kind of cool, Doc.
But yeah. No, if anybody's out there to try it, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. It's something, it's mindless. It's fun. And, I watch other people's reels. It's just a lot of fun.
This garden piece in your life has been the absolute most beautiful, I guess you would say, transformation piece, but it's almost like the culmination. You take the healthy food choices and now you grow them yourself, and look at this, you turn that into a business also. I think it's genius marketing.
Thank you. And I need to ask, how is the networking? Well, you're heavily involved with Happy Neighborhood Project. How is all of that going?
It's going fantastic, actually. I got to go to another one I love too. I joined several over the pandemic year, and Christian Women Entrepreneur Network with Rebecca Garcia is going great. And I got to have, I got to be with her team on Saturday. That was another one that is great. And Happy Neighborhood Project is, there's almost 70 events now every week.
Wow.
And so I can't go to all 70, even but I'm giving it my best. Let's just go there.
We'd be like, where's Queenie? She's online. She's at Happy Neighborhood Project.
That's exactly right. And so I'm either in Nigeria or Hawaii or Australia, and just by pushing a different button. And it really has been so much fun. And you think about, if you have a message, and think about your message, Doc, for all of us, the the food choices, because it is a choice, in my opinion. If you know something's going to make you feel better by eating it, or something's going to make you feel not so good by eating it, those are the choices. And it's the same thing with, I was with a different team on Friday, actually. And one of the ladies said, I'm not comfortable networking online. I'd rather do it in person. I promise I understand that, because I used to be at chamber stuff. Oh my gosh, there's a zillion chambers in Kansas City, FYI. And I used to try and go to as many events as I could and join several chambers just to support different locations. And physically, you cannot go to as many places because of the time, the travel, the this, the something, the follow-up. There's usually a luncheon or a breakfast meeting involved. And this has also been so genius for me, and my business is global. So
Well, and you did try when we were networking in person. How many was that? And that one day, and you had somebody drive you around, right? Wasn't it 8 or 12 in one day?
I got 8, and that just about killed me. But I wanted to see if it could be done. And so, but it literally started 7 o'clock in the morning. I remember the breakfast meeting, and then a morning something, and then an afternoon this, and a lunch and that, and a after hours, and all the way down. But it was 8 events in one day. And first of all, of course, you couldn't keep that up. But the reason I did it was to see if it could be done. And thus the Networking on Steroids title was born. And because I wanted to see how many people you could reach in that amount of time. And then just like with your Instagram piece, it's growing your network.
Right.
And once you grow your network, and then you get to have those relationship pieces, that is so huge for me. And that is the part that I hope people are finding in their own businesses. If your business can go outside your local market, like your city, if you can go bigger than that, then it's so fun to be able to network with people all across the globe. Because what's happening right now in Nigeria, tell me about Canada. What's going on with the Mexico border things as far as the pandemic part, what's happening in the UK and other pieces as far as Europe. And it's phenomenal to me. I got to be with several people from India on Friday also, and that was their thing. They love networking and they love growing their businesses, and it's working. And so I seriously mean it. If anyone is interested in networking, talk to Doc, talk to me, talk to any of the members of our Doc and Queenie community. It's so much fun to build relationships and to be able to meet the people that you get to see online all the time. It's a blast.
Yeah, and like you teach networking, it's the relationship. It's not doing the, hey, I'm going to be your friend for a second and you're going to buy from me.
Oh my gosh, no, that's not how it works for me. I can tell you that. And being part of Fun Fearless Female with Delinda Lane, that's another thing that I even mentioned on one of the Words of Wisdom Wednesdays that I do. If your expectation is to walk into a networking event and sell 100 of your somethings, then good. Hopefully that's lovely if that's your deal. But I have not found that to be the case. And so what is your expectation on your networking piece? And I love the relationship building. Plus, meeting Delinda and being on her calls led me to Missy Day. And now I'm in one of Missy's coaching classes, and it literally, it comes full circle. And then I have girls from that group in Kathy Chat, which is the piece and the vodcast that I get to do. And it's phenomenal to me when you think back, how did you meet? And by the way, Doc, you asked the other day about the Doc and Queenie original meeting, and it is coming up on 2 years.
I know, isn't that crazy?
July 25th of 2019, you walked into Fazoli's out in Olathe to the No Excuses Networking Tribe, and it was like, holy moly. And so all of it, everything relational for me stems from networking.
Yes. I mean, and that's what it's become for myself too. And like you say, our reach, we actually have a lot of people in common that are not in this Kansas City area.
Yes.
We've networked separately with, and then discovered, like, her, yeah, so
yes.
So yeah, no, it's
so much fun. I mean, seriously, and getting to meet people from everywhere. So once again, I have to quit looking at the clock, but we are at the end of our time. But I really think about the Doc and Queenie community and how that started August 3rd, actually, of 2020. If not for the pandemic, And we wouldn't have had Doc and Queenie because we probably would have been out in the world networking. So we wouldn't have had it as a concept. And then all of a sudden as a, oh my gosh, girl chat with a faith twist. And here we have Faithful Friends on Purpose. And now we've got Bible trivia on Thursday
Trivias, yes.
night. Funny.
Trivia.
Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central. And it's like, now we've got a new family there. And it's been a
Right.
blast.
Yes, ditto, ditto. Yes, definitely. So I guess we have to say goodbye because it's that time, isn't it, Queenie?
It is,
All
Doc.
right.
Take us home.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. This is always too short. We always have fun, and hopefully all y'all are having fun listening to talking about food and traditions and moms and networking and Instagram and all of that fun. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Queenie, for all you do and all you teach and train everybody. And you can check out Kathy, I'm sorry, I said Kathy, Queenie's website, etc. It's Kathy Weaver KC on YouTube and everywhere else,
Yep.
Facebook, all of those social platforms. And I'm Kitchen Garden Expert. So until next Monday, when we see you at high noon, take care. Check us out on Bible Trivia Thursday at 7. If not, we'll see you here next Monday. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Queenie.
Bye.